Next, you want to remove these little caps on the back side of the caliper. Right there, and there's another one right here. You can pry off with your fingers or use a screwdriver. Set them aside. And then you can loosen up the guide pins using a 7mm Allen. You can remove this retaining clip with a pair of pliers. Just gently pry it outwards. Set it aside. You can pull the caliper off now. Set it aside. And remove the brake pads. There's two bolts that hold the caliper bracket to the hub, 13mm. Just remove those two, right there and right there. With the bracket removed, you can remove the rotor. Might need to hit it a few times with the hammer. You're going to need to push the piston back into the caliper. One thing you're going to need is this brake tool that twists the piston clockwise and pushes it back in. On this style, you can't just press it straight in, you gotta twist it back in. You can find this tool at any auto parts store and they'll rent it to you. Make sure that the piston is all the way in the caliper, pretty much to where you can't turn this thing anymore. It's completely bottomed out. You can install the rotor now. Make sure that you clean it, because typically through the manufacturing process it's covered with grease. You want all that grease completely off. Now you can install the brake caliper bracket. Again, install the brake pads. Make sure the brake pad with the spring clip is on the inside. And then go ahead and install the caliper. You want to grease up these guide pins. Make sure they're always able to move pretty freely. I always add a little bit of grease on before I install them back on the car. With the caliper mounted and the guide pins tightened, you want to install little dust caps. Just click on. You want to install this clip retainer. Put it in this guide hole here, move it up here, grab the bottom and shove this part into the caliper as much as you can. Use a screwdriver or your fingers to pry back on to make sure that the spring clip is underneath the caliper bracket and it's all the way mounted into the caliper.